Yes, hello and welcome to the first lecture of Autodesk AutoCAD. Today we will be drawing this very basic drawing. I don't believe in teaching individual commands and stuff out of context, so we will be following a project-based approach. This is the first project. They will get incrementally more and more complicated toward the end. So it's best if you can print this out or have it somewhere that you can use it as a reference point. If you can't, you can just have it on your desktop and have a look every once in a while to read some of these dimensions. I'm just going to put this aside. Yes, the second thing I want to talk about is your license. If you're a student and you try to learn AutoCAD or any Autodesk software, you can always apply for a learner student license. So the way to do that is just to type in Google Autodesk student license. Yes, free student software downloads. Get it now, individual license. Then you have to create an account. You click on create an account. You give your credentials, your university name, your university email. The only important thing is that while registering, you should have, I think, an educational email. Like it should end with something.edu. .something, your country. So edu.tr, edu.uk, edu.ne, something educational. So you create an account, then you sign in, and then it will give you access to all Autodesk softwares for 3 years. And it's very good because you can get the latest updates and you can have the latest versions of all these softwares, and it's like pretty useful to have the most updated versions because they're always evolving and you want to be up to date in this industry. All right, but if you have an older version, the things that we will be covering in this lecture will be very basic stuff. So like you can even basically do this with AutoCAD 2012, not anything older than that because some fundamental changes happened during that time. All right, so this is AutoCAD. I'm clicking on the menu bar and I'm opening a new file. For now, leave it as it is, acad.dwt. Don't touch anything. Leave it as default. Open. So this is the AutoCAD environment. We have ribbons at the top. This is called the ribbon. You can find all the commands that we will be using here. You also have your drawing area, your navigation panels here at the left hand side. You have some drawing setting at the bottom. Leave it as default for now. If you've changed it or you're using computer somebody else used, please make sure that it matches mine for now. I will talk about all this later. And this is the most important thing that you will be communicating with AutoCAD through. This is the command bar. You want to have the command bar. If you don't have the command bar, press Ctrl 9. Ctrl 9 will bring back the command line if it doesn't show. So we want to start the drawing, but we can also of course start drawing, but now first we have to define some stuff at the beginning. First thing is units. Depends on where you are working. You don't even have to click here while you're in the drawing. You don't have to go here and type. You type down units and you press spacebar for enter. Always in all commands press spacebar. You can always press enter, but it's not really that fast. Spacebar is easier to find, easier to locate, and your thumb finds it easily. You type unit, you press spacebar. I'm saying press enter. When I say press enter means that press spacebar from now on. Leave it as decimal. I'm planning to work in centimeters. My region now is a centimeter based region. Europe is a centimeter, but back in my hometown the dimension was in meters, so we did put it in meters. Like for example, if you're working on an urban project, you might even go for something larger. So we have a centimeter. Decimal 0.00. I'm not keen on having more zeros because I'm already drawing in centimeters, and even this is too much. You can basically put it in 0 and get away with it. Many people do. Centimeter, international, okay. So we have our unit set up. Always do it first because later on it will be difficult. If you're from the United States or a country using imperial system. I don't know why you're using it still, but anyway, change it to inches and imperial system. Now, I want to define the limits of the drawing. It's something useful for the beginners because the AutoCAD is an endless space. You can basically draw the entire solar system here in meters. And nothing goes wrong. So you really don't know how far or how close to the things that you are drawing you are. So you sometimes draw something, like you draw something like, for example, let me go a little. You draw something 10 meters and you say, okay, no, it doesn't look like a 10 meter. It looks very small. I can't see it. But you don't know. You're really far back, and you can't see it because you're so far away. So second thing I want to do after units is the limits. I'm typing limits, spacebar. Always read the command line. Specify lower corner. You will do it in autopilot later on. So lower corner is this one, 0, 0. Leave it as 0, 0. Enter. The upper corner, you have to make a guess. Like, for example, if you check the drawing that I gave you, you can find the link down below. You have, like I said, like it should be a little bit larger than your drawing. So I'm putting 3000 by 2000. Always put the X direction first in all commands that require 2 dimension, and X and Y. Always X first, then Y, then Z. We will get to that later. So X and Y. So if I want to rectangle 3000 by 2000, a horizontal, like landscape. So I'll put 3000, comma, 2000. Now my limits are set. The next thing, you want to zoom to your limits. The way to do that is by double clicking your middle mouse button. Double clicking middle mouse button is called zoom extend. You can also press Z enter and pick extend from here. Or later on, when you get more advanced, you just type Z enter, E enter. Z enter, E enter. And it will do the same thing. So, but middle mouse button double click is the easiest way to do. The next step is also optional. You want to have your grid set up, because I don't know how far apart these grids are, and grid is the only thing in AutoCAD that gives you a sense of scale, because it's really difficult to get a sense of scale in space which is endless and you don't know how far or how close, and you can pan around easily. So I'm defining the grid. The way to do that is here by coming and right clicking on the grid setting. You have 4 options here. You put it, I said this is optional. You can leave it if you want. 100, 100. So there are 4 options, 2 for snapping, 2 for grid spacing. You change all of it to 100. And now we are ready to draw. Now these small grid is like, the units are 100 centimeters. Let's say basically 1 meter apart. For my first line, before actually drawing the first line, we have to define our layer. So this is very important, and you don't want to start a drawing without having proper layering. It's always very critical, and you can really realize a good AutoCAD file from a bad AutoCAD file just by looking at the layers. So you find the layers here. Where did I put the... Okay, I did something. My computer is not really that powerful, and I'm also recording the screen at the same time. No, I don't want it here. Okay, so the way to find the layer properties is at the home ribbon. You click on layer properties, or you can always type down layer, enter. It will pop up. If you have a big screen, you can assign it somewhere. You can like put it here, doesn't matter. So here there is this small button here. You can also press Alt and N. If you hover your mouse around any icon, it will show you. So for this lesson, I have 2 layers. I have walls. I'm leaving always walls as white default, and I have axis. Axes always go for red. So you click on the color here and you change the color. For now, don't pick any of these fancy colors. Just stick with these basic 9 colors that you have here. Try to use these as much as possible. I'll tell you why later on. Let's say close it. And when you close it, you see your active layer is now 0, the default layer. I don't want that. I want to start drawing the axis. So I go to axis. I want to have a tidy drawing. So I start by snapping to the grid for my first line. The way to do that is by pressing F9 or just turning it on from here. Now, you want to do your first line. You press L, enter. You start from somewhere, and you see, you give it a beginning, and you can give it an end. And you can just keep drawing. Or you give it a beginning, you give it a direction, and you give it, for example, let's say 500 in this direction. So you give it a beginning, a direction, and you type down the dimension, how long you want the line to be. Now, I look at the drawing. I want my axis to be longer than the building. 1400 seems okay. So I'm typing 1400. Double click, bring it to the middle. Double click middlemost button. Now I have my first axis. I turn on my snap to grid now. I don't want it anymore. So the second command is offset. How to offset a line. The command for that is O, enter. Then if you read the command line, it will ask you how much do you want to offset. So I'm looking at my drawing. I have 300 centimeters axis here. So I press OK. Then select object to offset. So I have this object. I select on it. I can offset both sides. So you have to give it a direction. Doesn't matter where you click. Just click somewhere. Again. 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 Alright, so if you look at the drawing, we have our next axis 500. So I press O, enter, 500. Here go, next axis. So I want to turn my grid on again. I'm drawing now the horizontal ones. So I'm drawing this one. Let's have it as tidy as possible. F9. Press the grid off. Now I want to offset this. O, enter. First one is 300. Escape to go out of command. Offset 500. Escape to go out of command. Offset 300. Now we have our axis. We can move to the walls now. So lines and offset. The first two commands, of course, after defining the layers. So now I change my active layer to wall. Oh, sorry, don't click on the color, click on the name. So I'm changing my active layer to the wall. Well, let's say you forgot to change your active layers and you draw these two lines in a wrong layer. You can always select this. How to select it basically? You have to do a window. Sometimes I forgot that these are like very basic stuff, but because I do it automatically, people might not. So to do a selection window, you have two options. You click once, and you can drag and click twice for the second time. So you give it two corners. If you move toward the left hand side, you will get the green window, which picks everything which is partially into that window. If you go to our right hand side, you will get a blue window. The difference being that blue window picks stuff which are entirely in that screen. You can see here, it only picks these two lines. Or if I want these two lines, I can do it like this. You can always select it by clicking on it as well. You don't have to press Ctrl Shift anything down. Shift will remove the selection if you want. If you want to go out of selection, just press Escape. Now, I was telling you how to do this, how to fix this. You can always pick these two lines, go to the layer, and put them in layer axis. Now, press Escape. My active layer is wall. I'm looking at the drawing. I have 20 centimeters wall. The third command is multiline. ML enter multiline. When doing multiline, you have three options: justification, scale, and style. Style, not for now. Justification and style. You can click on it, or you can type J enter for justification. So I'm clicking on it. You can press just J enter, or then Z for 0. So 0 means in the middle. Justification you can snap to the right, to the top of the line, to the middle of the line, to the bottom of the line. 0. In this drawing, if you look, we are sticking with the center of the axis. So 0 is okay. And then scale, how thick the wall is. Here is 20. I'm pressing 20. Now I can start drawing. I'm looking at the drawing and I start to go around. Okay. I have to start from here. For example, if you forgot or you made a mistake, press escape. I don't even have to type multiline because it will remember the last command. If I now press spacebar, it's in the multiline and all my adjustments are there, 0 and 20. You can check it here. Okay. Now I start from here, go up and around, down here. To close the line, you can see always you have the option close. When you finish, you can press C enter to close the line. Now I press enter again. Make sure that you're snapping to the intersection of the two lines. Let's say this one comes here and goes down. This one goes all the way up. For now, ignore all the doors and openings. Yes, that will do. And then you can do it again, and you can have it from the middle of this line for the internal wall. You have the dimension, of course, but you can always do it like this. Now I have all the walls. You cannot edit multi-lines easy, so you have to explode it. So this is the next command. Using the blue window, I'm selecting only the walls and I'm pressing X enter for explode. X enter for explode. Now the next command is the trim. So you go around and you start to clean up this. Trim, you can do it many different ways. For now, for today, I'm using trim enter, means that trim all. You can always trim with a target line. For example, I'm pressing TR, trim enter. First it asks me for a target object. I'm saying from this object, enter, and then these two I don't want it. But if you press TR, enter once more, it goes to trim all mode, means that it can trim everything from everything. While trimming, I usually like to lock my access layer, not to accidentally trim it, because we want it to stay there. Axes always are there. So I go to axis, you can see the very small golden lock. You click on it, you lock it. Now I cannot, for example, if I do a trim, I cannot actually touch it, but you can touch other stuff. Okay, so for now, just go around, practice trim, TR, enter. Some people will kill me for this, but anyway, there are better commands, but this is for basic beginners. Anyway, let's go around. Let's see if we don't need to trim this, because if you look at the drawing, you actually have to. Even this one, I made a mistake. It was not necessary. So if you want to continue this line, you can always pick it and move it over there. Okay, so this looks okay now. The next command is, again, I'm going to use offset and trim to go around and do all the openings. So here, if you check the drawing, the first window is 120 centimeters away from this line, so I'm pressing offset O enter 120. First line. First I trim the excess part. For example, here you can see this is too much of a long line. I can use the target trim. TR enter, select this line, enter, select the rest, enter. Now I have this perfectly good line. I press O, enter, offset. I look at the drawing, 180, enter. O, enter, 20. And then O, enter, 180. So I want you to practice with these two commands. Now, for trimming, I can do it one by one. Because I already locked my axis, I can do it with the green window as well. Now, offset 120 again, down. Let's trim the excess part. Offset 180 for the window. Trim. Make sure that the entire line that you're trimming is in the screen. Offset 320, trim this line, offset 180, this line. Here, the next command, because these two windows are exactly in front of each other, I don't want to do it again up there, so I'm using the command copy, CO. CO for copy. So I'm selecting these two objects, or you can press CO and then select the object. Doesn't matter, both way works. I'm selecting this with a blue window because I don't want any other line. If I do it like this, it will select everything. I don't want it like that. I want only these two lines. I'm pressing CO, enter. I pick it from here. You have to give it an origin and a destination. Let's get rid of these. Okay. There is a command for it called extend, but we will cover it next lesson. So I'm just picking it and continuing there. Or for today, you can just draw a line. It's a sin, but you can do it. Sorry, I pressed F1 for help. O, offset 80 for the wet spaces. I'm selecting this, CO, origin, CO. I was drawing a circle. Here. Any more openings? Yes, we have some here. This is easy. Offset 50. Have a look at drawing. Offset 200. There is no one way in AutoCAD, so you can find your own way basically. Trim, enter. I'm getting rid of these two. Let's see if I missed anything in this drawing. Looks okay, looks clean. There is a door here. Okay, let me offset this line. 100. Down. Trim. And trim. And that's it. So what's missing are these columns outside. If you pay attention here, we already made a column here, which is 20 by 20. We can copy this, or we can use this command called rectangle, or you can basically draw. Let me show you all different ways. So you can basically draw a 20 by 20. This is the least efficient way. Then you have to find the center of this if you want to copy these other places. So let's say first I move it, or let's copy it because you already know copy. CO, M is for move. Then you want to find the center of the like an object, something like that. You have to come to your OSnap options. Is here. Right click, go to Object Snap Setting, because midpoint is not by default on. But I always turn it on because it's very useful to have a midpoint. So it makes the drawing process much faster. So turn the midpoint on and press OK. I'll show you again. Right click on OSnap, Object, Midpoint on. Okay. Now I click this, M for move. I get this middle point. Put it here. Oh, I forgot to mention, but it's like very basic, intuitive, and I didn't know that if you have difficulty figuring this out, you will scroll you will zoom in and zoom out with your mouse scroll, and you will pan by pushing the middlemost button down. So I forgot to mention it because it's very intuitive, and I thought that you'll get it by default. So middlemost button, you push it, you pan, and then with scroll you zoom in and you zoom out. Zooming in, you have to do this very efficiently. So zooming in, wherever your mouse pointer is, your cursor is, it will zoom toward that direction. So you can even use that to pan. Okay. Alright, so now I select this. The other way of doing this is just to draw a rectangle. You can pick it from up here, or you can type REC for rectangle. You give it a beginning, then you click on dimension, or you press D enter. Here I have 20, enter, 20, enter. Here you go, we have another. Let's say move this. If you couldn't manage to do this, you can always draw two lines and just remove it. So like do a makeshift if you couldn't manage to do it. Alright? If you couldn't manage to do that, it's better if you can, but if you couldn't, just draw two lines and find the center point. Always you can like come up with your own solutions if you forgot how to do it the other way. So CO for copy. I'm picking it from here, I'm putting it here, putting it here, one here, one here, one here. Anywhere else? No. So this is for today. I hope that you can manage this much. The next lesson will be a little bit more difficult. I'll show you how to make these lines dash later in the next lesson. Thank you very much. I forgot something here. Please like the video if you can.